Hi, it's John from Crafts by John UK. Today's video, I'm going to show you how quickly to colour this star in 10 minutes. I've used a very simple colour palette, literally a blue pen and a purple pen. Those with a water brush and a piece of kitchen towel, and you can do this in 10 minutes. What I've done is I've achieved a nice blend going from purple, obviously at the tip, to a blue in the middle with a kind of a white layer in between. And then I've also coloured just a few of the globes in corresponding colours. You can see it's a really simple effect. When I layer this down onto a card blank, I will add another matte layer around it, probably in one of the colours, either the blue or purple. But in today's video, I'm just going to show you how I've painted this using those watercolour pens very quickly in 10 minutes. So super quick video today, bit of a technique, but you can see you can create quite a nice effect with literally just a few pieces. Stay tuned if you want to see how I did it. So I've got my stamped image here. This is a cute star stamp. It's by Visible Image. I've stamped it in Onyx Black from VersaFine, and then I've heat embossed it with clear embossing pad. You can see there it's got a lovely glossy shine. What I'm going to do today, I'm just going to demonstrate with a couple of pens and a water brush. This technique is so simple for cards like this. Basically, all I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down water all over the card, all over the stamp image, sorry, the star. And then I'm going to add a tiny bit of ink, and I'm just going to pull the ink and blend it together, just to show you how quick and simple this effect is. I've got a blue pen out, but I might actually use another colour as well, maybe a purple. But I'm literally going to use a couple of colours. So first thing to do is get your water brush. Always have a piece of kitchen towel next to you, and just check your water brush is nice and wet. Squeeze a little bit of water out. Sorry, that's slightly off camera, but you can. All I've done is make sure that the brush is wet. What I'm going to do now is just going to go in and lay down some water in the shape of the star. You can't obviously see it because it's clear, it doesn't really show up, but trust me, I'm getting it nice and wet. The reason for doing this, you get the star wet, then when you put the ink on, you'll find that the ink will travel and blend a lot easier. So I'm making that nice and wet. Just going over it a few times until I've got the whole thing wet. And if I hold that up, you can probably just about see that's nice and wet now. So what I'm now going to do, I'm going to take one of my colours. So I'm going to use the purple first of all. And I'm just going to put the purple onto the points. Now, because the purple, the minute it hits the water, it does kind of fade it down. So you'll see it's not too bright. But this is fine because this is part of what we're going to do. So I've got that very subtle purple now at the end. And what I'm going to do is just going to drag that down the tips a little bit and actually just blend it in further than it already has. This is quite a subtle technique. Now, thing is, we've always got the insurance. We can always go back in afterwards and add more purple once it starts to dry. So what we can do, use the brush if you want to take some of the water off. You don't need it maybe so wet. So as you take that water off, keep dragging that purple down. And what you'll find is it kind of blends further and further and further each time you work it. So what you can see now, and I don't know if that's showing up too well, we've actually got quite a nice little purple blended down the points of the stars. But what we're going to do, we're going to add some more. So again, go in with the same colour and just lay down a bit more colour. You can see, if I go onto my tissue, my kitchen towel, what you'll see is that will take the excess water off and it just lets the pure colour through. And that doing it that way gives you a bit more to play with on the actual card. So I've now got a little bit more colour. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to go in and kind of blend that out a little bit more. We want it to be most intense at the points. So we don't really want to touch that too much at that end. It's just this bit where it sort of comes into the middle and just getting that nicely blended. Now what we're going to do in the middle, we're going to do some blue in the middle. So I want a kind of purple to blue fade. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to shimmy, I'm going to drop my pen first of all. I'm going to shimmy a little bit of blue into the middle. This is quite a vibrant blue. Obviously that area is drying out slightly, which is why it's kind of gone on more intensely. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just work that blue a little bit and get it wet with my water brush. I'm going to take some off, I'm going to take a bit more off. And then what I'm going to do, clean my brush. So I'm going back to my clean water so that my brush is clear. And then I'm going to pull down from the purple into the blue. It will integrate the two together, but what you should see is that the purple continues. I'm going to turn the project. So again, working that blue, just taking a little bit off, but then coming back with the purple. And this should give me a blend from that blue to that purple. Again, coming around here, cleaning my brush, and then in with the blue with a bit of water just to kind of wet it a bit. Take that blue off, go to the purple, pull the purple into the blue. Clean my brush, into the water, dry my brush, purple, into the blue, kind of meld the two together. And the last one, clean my brush, dry my brush, purple, into the blue, blend them together. Now, at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with the purple, just to reignite the purple. But you can see now we've got a kind of a nice blend. We've got a colour that's a mixture of the purple and the blue. And then we've got the blue in the middle, quite vibrant on its own. I will just lift that up so you can actually see. The lighting here is not great, unfortunately, because I'm not at home, but you can see we have got a kind of purple and blue blend. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dry that water on my mat before I put my card into it and completely screw everything up. I'm just going to go back with the purple in on the ends, just to reaffirm that purple. Again, if it's getting a bit too wet and it's a bit too loaded up with the water, just dry it on the cloth and you'll find the next time you lay it down, it'll come back stronger again. I love these pens. These are the Arteza watercolour brush pens. I use them all the time. So now we want a clean brush. So again, put a bit of water down, just clean your brush, and now go in to the bit where you kind of join those two together. So go straight into the middle where the blue and the purple meet. Pull the purple out. But basically you're just trying to get a blend between the blue and the purple. Make sure your purple goes right to the point of the star. That one did not. There we go. And then here, again, and here. I think that's the last one. And you can always make any last minute adjustments. If you, for instance, want it to be a little bit bluer in the middle, just put a bit of blue and then just blend that in. And that's the good thing. You will need a decent watercolour paper. This is a 300 GSM, so it's quite a heavy paper. It needs to be able to take quite a lot of water. Try and do this on 150 GSM paper, it's just going to buckle, and you may even get like ridges in the paper, so be careful. I'm just going in there and then I'm cleaning my brush and I'm kind of just going over the edges of where I've just pulled that out, just to kind of blend it in. And just keep working it until you're happy with the mixture of colours you've got and the blend. Now what you could do, if you've got a heat tool, you could dry this and then just check you've got the blend you want. I don't actually have a heat tool here with me because I'm on holiday in Spain for Christmas. So I've literally got minimal craft supplies with me. So I'm going to have to let this dry naturally. It'll be very interesting to see what it looks like at the end. But I can still go in with that purple and add a little bit more if I want. Kind of depends how detailed you want to go. I think it's quite nice to have a little bit of vibrant colour at the end. So I'm going to keep just adding. But always blend it out, because whilst that looks fine now, once it dries, you'll find that you get quite a harsh border. So always go back in with the water. But take the water off between blends. There we go. Just going over the seam kind of between the purple and the other colour. There we go. And what I'm also going to do for just a little bit of extra interest, I'm going to put some colour into some of these balls. So I want to keep in the same colour tone, so I'm going to use a purple here. And maybe here. and maybe here. And then I'm going to use the same blue, maybe here, and maybe here, and maybe here. Now you'll notice I'm not colouring the whole shape. What I'm doing is I'm just laying down a bit of colour because I'm going to go round and round and round, and I'm going to blend it in so that it's got a nice colour fade in it. So from maybe purple one side to white the other. I'm using my kitchen towel, just going in here, leaving the ink pretty much where it was on one side and blending out to the other. We don't want to just colour flat objects. They look flat and they're dull and boring. We want a little bit more interest. I've just gone over the edge there, which is clever of me. I'm just going to take that off with my kitchen towel. If you do that and go over the edge, just get some clean water and just mop it up. Watercolour is very forgiving. So here, because this is quite intense colour, I'm just going to wet it first, take that excess blue off, and then pull that colour across. There we go. Take any excess colour off that you don't want. There we go. Now I'm just noticing here, look, for instance, this is what I'm talking about. I've got a little blobby bit here where it's kind of created a seam. So I'm just going to go with my water brush, just wet it, work it a little bit, and that should get rid of that. That's the stuff to watch out for. If you do make any accidental splats, I've got a little splat there, just wet it and dry it with your kitchen towel and you'll find it becomes pretty much invisible. Do make sure, obviously, that your kitchen towel's clean. There we go. Got another little splat there. So there we go. That's very, very quick colouring. In 11 minutes, I've literally coloured that whole thing. So you can see I've got a nice blue in the middle. I've got kind of a white area between, and then it goes to the purple. Blue, white, purple, blue, white, purple, blue, white, purple, blue, white, purple. So I've got a blue in the middle. I've got a pink tinge. Kind of got a white halo around the blue. Then I've got a couple of little stars that just tie it in. So that's quite a nice, simple little effect, achieved in literally 10 minutes. Hopefully that was useful. If you like it, maybe check out my other videos on my channel. Give me a thumbs up, maybe, and subscribe if you're interested to see future projects. Thanks a lot.